My name is Yolanta. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and this is my story about overcoming breast cancer. I learned a lot on this journey and wanted to share some of my experiences with you. There is no real manual how to go to breast cancer. Every breast cancer is uniquely personal. I felt touched and struggled with navigating through it every day. Therefore, this is meant to provide support or inspiration to you or someone you may know. It all started with finding a lump touching my breast during a shower in April of 2020. I went straight into denial, especially after Googling that I may be premenopausal or experiencing a cyst. With that, COVID lockdown, and being scared, I didn't see a doctor till late fall 2020. In November of 2020, I managed to see my gynecologist and was referred for the first ever mammogram at the age of 48. Kind of late, you may think. Just for the record, I'm originally from Germany, where the screening guidelines begin at the age of 50. No matter where you're from or whom you influenced by, make sure to get your screening rather sooner than later. My test results came back abnormal. Therefore, my OBGYN suggested seeing a breast specialist at the Cleveland Clinic in Weston. My breast expert ordered more tests. At this point, I was very anxious and needed to undergo additional mammograms, several MRI and ultrasound-guided biopsies, plus placing markers and radioactive seeds in my breasts. In the midst of being poked and scanned, I constantly needed to fight my fear and tell myself not to quit. Out of this desperate place, plus being claustrophobic, I came up with the idea of transforming my fear into appreciation. I used meditation and deep breathing to help me reduce anxiety during procedures. Call me crazy, but I was even giving the machines my grandma's names and pretended that I was visiting them whilst being scanned. For the first time in my life, I truly understood what my mom must have gone through in her cancer fight. I also realized that I was suppressing my emotions of losing my mother at the age of 17. I felt deeply connected to her and inspired by her courage, but terrified of the loss I couldn't control. Now, I'm able to relate to the painful struggle I endured in, throughout, and beyond her death. At this point, my life has been interrupted, and I was anxious to receive my diagnosis. I have breast cancer in my left breast? How can that be? What have I done wrong? Receiving my breast cancer diagnosis put me into a state of being numb, frightened, and devastated. I couldn't believe it, since I was practicing a healthy lifestyle and clean eating my entire life. I now felt a sense of disappointment over my organic approach, thinking that I may have not done enough. This is my mom. Her name is Rose. She died of stomach cancer at the age of 52, prior having breast issues which were taken care of in her mid-40s. And here I come, 30 years later, following her footsteps, having my cancer at the age of 49. It took me a while to realize that I have not caused my cancer, and I'm not my mom, and I won't die of cancer. I decided to turn it around and honor her and her fight. I figured that the best way to do it would be winning of my own cancer fight and continue living for both of us. I learned that most people won't participate in their own rescue. In the past, I may have been one of them, but no longer. After being diagnosed, I opened myself to receive professional, mental, and emotional support. My clinic provided an art therapist who guided me step by step through my journey. Her emotional support helped me develop a level of behavior change and commitment to myself, which helped me staying focused. Getting counseling was carrying me throughout the process and giving me the strength to face and conquer the unknown. I learned that my diagnosis wasn't a death sentence, and I did not cause my cancer. My mental health was getting a boost, and every session made me feel stronger. I was confident with my breast surgeon and liked the way Cleveland Clinic handled everything, and decided to have a lumpectomy, even though my doctor recommended a breast mastectomy. I had no intention to lose my breast, and it was out of question for me at that time. My lumpectomy went smoothly, and I recovered quickly, to only 1 week later learn that my pathology results came back with positive margins, meaning I still had cancer and needed further treatment. If you can, always seek a second or even third opinion. My breast cancer surgeon even encouraged me doing so. I went to reputable sources and got educated even more. Undergoing of additional tests, scans, and discussing with breast cancer experts outside of my clinic was what I needed and mind-changing. In my case, awakening me to acknowledge what I was recommended by my initial surgeon in the first place. My wishful thinking of believing I was somehow misdiagnosed and perhaps in the wrong movie was by then gone with the wind. I now had several experts confirming my diagnosis and urging me to continue treatment. There is a lot of fear in moving forward with the decision of having double mastectomy. I'm lucky to have a long-distance mentor friend, Erica, whom I shared my struggles with and who also is a cancer survivor. She helped me to minimize my fear by relocating it to a little corner where it was and still is allowed to exist, yet no longer hinder my decisions. Armed with knowledge and courage, I decided to have both breasts removed. Navigating through the process and making this decision was extremely difficult. Yet, saying goodbye to both breasts greatly reduced the risk of spreading future reoccurrence as well as anticipatory anxiety. In my case, also passively eliminating radiation, chemo, and long intake of pills. I told myself that I was basically getting rid of what no longer served me and swapping it for a cancer and worry-free life. Furthermore, it also felt like breaking my mom's history pattern by having opportunities she may have not had. Last but not least, I felt confident and had no doubts that I was doing the right thing for me. I think choosing which doctor you're going to work with is of essence. I personally chose my surgeons not just based on the medical expertise, experience, or Google reviews. In my case, the personal eye-to-eye connection and a level of confidence that they have demonstrated were the deciding factors for me. I went back to Cleveland Clinic and sat down with my initial breast surgeon since I felt confident and comfortable with her from the beginning. I also interviewed a couple of plastic surgeons that she recommended and picked the one best suited for me. It takes a village to win a battle, so I started to arm myself with the right people. This one wasn't easy, since I always had issues with asking for help. Lastly, I found an opportunity in my neediness and learned that asking for and receiving help does not hurt. I feel beyond grateful to all of those who had played a role, small or big, in my journey to win the battle against breast cancer. I also needed to take a break from some individuals and even let go of some entirely, since I no longer could tolerate any kind of negative behavior. I simply needed all the energy I had for myself and my real supporters. At first, it felt strange, but with time, I actually felt much lighter. As I mentioned before, I have been practicing a healthy lifestyle my entire life. Yet, nowadays, mostly felt weak and tired. With my mental health being challenged, I needed much more energy and motivation than ever to simply get me through the day. Some of my self-care tools to stay on track before surgery, during and post were walking, biking, meditating, listening to mantras, talking to my therapist, talking to my friends, reading inspirational books, journaling, keeping up with my beauty routines, occasional massages, creating activities, making collages, taking pictures, visiting local parks and gardens. Last but not least, trying to get plenty of rest and sleep. Remember, these are my personal self-care tools. No matter what, pick up some activities that bring you pleasure and distract you from negative thoughts and overthinking. I wanted to capture my breast before surgery as a form of holding on to my beauty, to myself, and what I had, since my future seemed so uncertain. Throughout the process, I realized that I was letting go and saying goodbye to my old breast and to my old self. The photo shoot gave me joy, strength, great lasting memories, and led us into making of this documentary. The bilateral breast nipple sparing mastectomy with Reconstruction wasn't a walk in the park. My surgery lasted almost a whole day and kept me in bed overnight, followed by, for the first time ever, me begging for serious painkillers. I was discharged in the evening the day after surgery and taken care of at home by my brother Frankie and my friend Jimmy. I was recommended to try sleeping in a recliner, which became my bed for the next couple of weeks. An in-home nurse was making frequent visits for about 2 weeks. 1 medication ball and 4 drains inside of my body felt discomforting and restricting, but were removed within a week or so. With proper attachment to your clothes, you can walk with it and conduct your little house chores. 1 week later, and full of anticipation, I once again sat down with my surgeon, and this time around learned that my pathology results came back negative. That message brought me to tears. I was no longer lost in the stigma of being breastless, but now cancer and worryless. I jumped into hugging my doctor, feeling relieved, lucky, and euphoric. During my post-op visit with my plastic surgeon, I was told that the reconstruction went well, except my right nipple, which had an infection that has been treated. Subject: expanders. You only know them when you wear them. Having my expanders expanded is not fun, yet not exactly painful either. It feels quite weird. I experience pressure during and chest tightness after my expansions. Carrying my expanders feels like having bricks in my chest. or like wearing a corset made out of iron. Yet, the bliss of being cancer-free is fueling my desire to continue with reconstruction. They are temporary and serve an important purpose in the process of breast reconstruction. That is why I am nowadays feeling motivated towards my third surgery, which will give me the reason to wake up to see my new breasts. I documented my breast cancer journey with certain intentions. To honor myself, to honor my mom, to honor all my doctors, surgeons, nurses, caregivers, and counselors. To thank all my friends, family, and neighbors. To inspire and empower all of you who may find it comforting or helpful. Last but not least, to encourage women to seek early detection. I hope to share more survivorship stories once completely done with reconstruction. After all, sharing is caring. Thanks for viewing. Best wishes and positive vibes to you all.
Why do we lay on these traps? We put them right in our path. That's when we just wanna be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of what I know I don't know. And I know I'll only do this by living in the moment, yeah, living my life, easy and breezy, peace of my mind, peace of my heart, peace of my soul, wherever I'm going, I already know. Easy and breezy, peace of my mind, peace of my heart, peace of my soul.